Eleanor Rigby picked up the rice in a church where a wedding had been. She lives in a dream, waits by the window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. Who is it for? All the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong?
Welcome to the official podcast about the movie Yesterday, where they wrote Eleanor Rigby, the song.
Yeah, and the song, Hey Dude.
Hey Dude, by Ed Sheeran.
I only watched the trailer.
You should watch the movie. It is epic.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to. It didn't seem like my kind of movie.
You love bad movies.
I don't. I don't know where you get this from, but I don't love bad movies.
You told me to watch Child's Play.
See, that's where you and I disagree. I don't think Child's Play is bad.
I'm sure there's some bad movies you like that you know are bad.
Yeah, I have guilty pleasures, but I don't think
everybody loves a good bad movie.
Based off the trailer
maybe it's
of
me.
Yesterday.
Maybe it's me that likes bad movies.
No, you definitely like bad movies.
I specifically search out bad movies a lot.
Because half the time you're like, oh, I just watched this really bad movie and I loved it. I'm like, what? London.
I hate myself.
Because, me and London both, watch movies, but I try to watch only, good movies.
I'll be like, what kind of terrible trash can I find on the Netflix horror queue today?
Occasionally, I'll be like, hey, I've watched too many good movies in a row to where I feel it's affecting,
your rating system?
My rating system?
No, I did that. That's what it started at.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll watch, a bad one to throw it back on balance and be like, oh, yeah, this movie shit. This is what a shit movie is.
Well, that's mostly what I do. It seems like I watch a lot of bad movies, but it's probably I'll watch a really bad movie I know is going to be bad going into it. 1 out of every 10 movies kind of thing. But I just watch so many movies that it seems like you're doing it every day.
Yeah.
But it's not like I purposely seek it out. Sometimes I'll watch 3 bad movies in a row. Just because I'm in a mood. I'm I want to suffer. Yeah. It's just funny to laugh at bad movies.
Yeah, but they have to be bad in just the right way.
Well, that's why I think I'm okay with watching bad horror a lot of the time, because usually I'll be like, this is a 1 out of 10 movie. But it's a 1 out of 10 movie, but I'll be it's only 80 minutes long. So even if it is terrible and I suffer, I can just get through it real quick kind of thing.
I feel it.
But it's bad horror, I think, is easier to watch than really bad comedies.
It can be.
Bad comedies, if the jokes don't land, it's just boring and dumb. But if it's bad horror, it gets to the point where anytime they do a scare, it circles around to being funny.
Yeah.
At least sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely is a case-by-case basis, because there are some horror movies that I have watched where I'm just holy shit, I am miserable, and the movie doesn't even have to be very long. That's the thing about a really bad movie, is that it can have a short runtime, but you'll feel every fucking minute of it. And that was Ghostmates for me. That movie.
Hey, don't tell them no spoilers.
Oh my god.
Thomas loved Ghostmates. We'll talk about it later in the podcast.
Yeah, I'm jumping the gun a little bit here.
Ghostmates is the best movie.
Thank you, the egg. The egg cameo has been in to tell you that Ghostmates is the best movie. Were there any movies you watched this week besides the 2? We saw The Farewell together.
Yeah, we saw The Farewell together. What were the 2 I watched earlier?
What?
What were the 2 that we watched on a Monday?
You didn't watch them. You were asleep.
I watched one of them, didn't I?
No.
What was the theme?
It was dark animated films.
Oh yeah, I fell asleep.
You fell asleep
because we watched the entire first season of Spawn, and I was awake through most of it.
Did you finish it yet? Did you go?
No, I didn't.
It was okay.
Yeah, like I
Like
liked.
I gave it a 5.
I liked.
I thought it was okay.
I liked the atmosphere and the animation.
Honestly, what's funny is I think that the last 3 episodes, the second half of the season, was like much better than the first half. So
Yeah.
you being asleep for that, I'm just like, that's really funny.
Well, I was kind of talking a bit through the first half too at certain
It's
points.
just
It didn't quite hook me.
honestly, I'll probably watch the. Sorry if you can hear a waterfall in the back. We're actually kayaking.
Yeah.
But I'll probably watch the second and third season because I feel like the second season's probably going to be better.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
I
something.
think the first season had trouble just getting its foot off the ground.
It's definitely something that I want to like sit down and like properly watch at some point. Because I had no idea that we were watching like the first season. I thought we were just watching like the first movie, and it's like the first season of the show, and it's like, oh, that's like 3 hours. Okay, I can.
Like a move.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we're talking about the Spawn animated films. There's technically 3, but it was HBO 1997. They aired on HBO, but then when they did their home video release, they just edited them into movie form. So all they did was they cut out the intro and like the outro, and each movie was 2.5 hours. So like they just very slightly edited it, and then that was the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like we got the full experience watching the seasons. It just, I do think it would have been a little better as, I don't know. There's a lot of filler. There was a lot of filler in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah. They
So
definitely could have trimmed it down a bit.
oh, okay. So you watched part of that, and you watched The Farewell, the Aquafina helmed. I think the director is Lulu Wang.
Yeah,
if I remember
think that's
correctly.
right.
Which I've heard good things about her. I'm excited to see some of her other films, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought The Farewell was pretty good.
We saw it in theaters together, and Thomas had a cool guy sitting next to him that fell asleep, like probably like 40 minutes into the film. Or he was dozing off like 40 minutes into the film.
Yeah, because there was a point where like I heard him like breathing kind of heavily, which that was fine. Like,
what if instead of sleeping, you just turned over and he was like jacking off?
I mean,
Would that have been worse or better?
probably,
What if you had like a jacket over him?
I don't think it'd be better,
Well,
but I don't know if it would
do
have
you
been.
think you
much
could have
worse.
paid attention to the film a little better?
Yeah, because at least if he's jacking off and just like breathing heavily, it would
What if
probably
he
be
was
less
staring at you?
noisy. I would have just tilted my hat like this so I wouldn't have been able to see him.
He like leans forward.
Then I would have been like, "Sir, excuse me, sir,
Sir?
stop, or else I'm going to have to put my finger in your mouth."
Once he fell asleep fully, I just kept leaning over to Thomas and being like, you should yell in his ear, or you should stick your finger in his mouth and just go, whoop.
Yeah, I was trying to like I wanted a way to like wake him up without like
I heard you
disturbing.
like kind of.
Yeah, I coughed a couple times. There was one point where I like fake sneezed, and then the point in which he actually woke up was when I decided to readjust myself by thrashing in my seat a little bit.
You're like,
And then he kind of like jumped up. But yeah, no, that like I wouldn't have mind because I get it. Like sometimes you fall asleep in the theater. I did it
Don't
during
snore.
Revenge of the Sith, and I did it during The Revenant. But
I still haven't seen The Revenant. You haven't either, have you? Since you.
I went to see it, and like I went to see it with my dad, and we sat down. 5 minutes in, I fell asleep. Not out of like lack of investment or anything. I was just so fucking tired. It like just hit me as soon as I sat down in the theater seat. I woke up. I saw the iconic bear scene,
Yes, I've seen that scene.
and then I fell back asleep. And I woke up. I watched the last 20 minutes of the movie, and I was like, "Huh." I don't know what I kind of added. I put it together. I want to see it too, but I had like gotten that like parts of the movie, so I was like, I'm just gonna wait a really long
Until
time
you forget about it?
until until I like forget at least the vivid detail of those scenes.
I feel
But I'm gonna get my 70-inch here soon, and when I do that,
He's talking about his penis.
Yeah, a 70-inch penis. I realize that they can't see as I point to your
he's
TV.
pointing at a TV. He's getting a 70-inch TV, not a speaker.
That's going to be 4K, and I'm going to buy like...
Is that just going to be in your room, your small-ass room?
Yes.
That's really funny. Can that fit through the door? No.
It will when
70
it's in
inches
the box.
tall.
See, I'm just going to like take out my back wall and put in a big movie screen.
Dope.
And not have the room to like fully project onto it.
Okay, so yes, The Farewell from Us gets a good.
Yeah, I gave it...
You gave it a
I'd probably
7?
like 7, yeah.
I also gave it a 7. It was the movie got a little worse because of the guy snoring, but so I was sitting at like a strong 8, or a strong 6 or high 6, but I'm like, no, this is a 7. Just that guy kind of ruined some of the scenes, some of the more emotionally poignant scenes. Yeah. So I had to be like, what if this guy didn't ruin those scenes and like had to reevaluate?
Yeah, as soon as it got to like the emotional kind of climax of the story and all I can hear is right next to me, it definitely takes you out of it, which is why I fucking hate going to movie theaters and why I tend to not very often. Especially ones with assigned seating.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why the fuck...
I always try to get like places with like no one else.
Yeah. And then we had that old lady who came up when we were sitting in her one.
Yeah, she's like, can you scoot over one? I'm like, fuck. Sorry, lady. Oh.
I could have had some distance between me and the sleepy guy.
But no. This old bitch.
But that old fucking bitch. Alright. What's your fucking movie idea for this week, big guy?
I didn't even say what I watched this week.
Alright,
you don't want to hear about what I watched?
What did you watch, Landon?
I rewatched Megamind.
Oh, nice.
That was great.
I saw that once when it came out.
I think it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it still.
I remember he's got a big blue head.
Yeah, he kind of looks like you.
Does he?
Yeah. It did pretty terribly commercially because it came out 4 months after Despicable Me 1. And they have kind of similar plots.
Yeah, like
so
they're like kind of becoming...
Which is very sad because it's a much better movie than Despicable Me.
Yeah, well, they didn't have the fucking minions.
I mean, they have a minion.
Yeah, but they didn't have the little fucking banana people that everyone loves so much.
Have you seen the movie Minions?
No, I haven't, and I never will. But
it's not terrible, but it's not good.
Funny that we're talking about Minions because I don't know why I did, but for some reason I decided to save one of these famous Minion memes today onto my phone.
Let me read it.
Here you go.
So it's a minion holding out his thumb as if he's hitchhiking, and he's holding a cardboard sign that just has a heart, and it says, "I am one step away from being rich. All I need now is money."
Whoa. Fucking peak.
Look at those peaks.
Peak comedy right there.
Sorry about that ear destruction. Yeah, so I watched that. I also watched Descendants 3.
Oh.
Yes. By the man, Kenny Ortega, director of the High School Musical trilogy and a handful of other films.
How was it?
Honestly, I thought the first one was okay. Because I'm okay with Disney Channel original movies. I can, see it through the eyes of, children or, young adults. And, I can still enjoy movies. There's a handful of Disney Channel original movies I think are pretty great. Like High School Musical 1 and 2. But we're not going to get into that. But I thought the first one was okay. I thought the second one was pretty decent. I gave the first one a 5 and the second one a 6. It's not like I loved them. I thought the third one was terrible. I gave it a 3. I was shocked at how terrible it was.
A little later into our discussion, I actually have a talking point that revolves around a Disney Channel movie.
Oh, Smart House.
No, but...
Okay. Xenon.
No.
But I watched it because I wanted to see it, but Cameron Boyce He was a child star. He died.
Yeah, he's the one who was on Jesse.
Ago. Yeah. He died about a month and a half ago. Just he had just turned 20, like 17 days prior or something.
Rough.
Yeah. He just died from like a stroke in his sleep or a seizure in his sleep. Yeah. So, yeah, but shitty movie.
Yeah.
So watch Descendants 2 maybe, because it's also not great, but at least it's okay. And then I watched 28 Days Later for the first time.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
Danny Boyle zombie film.
I haven't watched it in a few years.
I thought it was okay. I gave it like a 6. I enjoyed it, but there's like...
Did you watch the alternate ending, which is the true ending? Because they forced Danny Boyle to change the ending.
Oh. No, I didn't.
Here, we can like bleep this part out.
Spoiler warning.
Because it's going to take 2 seconds and you'll know which ending you had. But
spoiler warning for this movie that came out 20 years ago.
If the main guy lives, you watch the theatrical ending. And if you watch the one where he dies, then that's the Danny Boyle original.
I watched the original ending.
Oh, okay.
Just because I don't know where I watched it. I think I just went, watch 28 Days Later online. Okay.
Yeah,
the ending, I don't think it would have changed how I felt about the film.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Cillian Murphy was pretty great in it. He's sexy.
Which one is he?
He's the main character.
Okay.
And there was like, it was enjoyable, but it was just like an enjoyable film. I don't think it was anything like I was expecting something like a spectacle, like something really good.
A big part of it is the time in which it came out, because it's the movie that kind of like revolutionized, like...
I'm sure it was one of the ones that did like the
fast zombies, but quote zombies, unquote, because it's technically like a virus.
But it's zombies. They're zombies.
Yeah, they're basically zombies. Because this predates... the Dawn of the Dead remake, I'm pretty sure, because that came out in 2004.
Yeah, and this was 2002.
Yeah.
I think it just in general was a pretty big resurgence in like, I think because there's been zombie films since Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's been like a steady amount. But
they kind of peaked in the 80s, and the popularity went down, and then
at some point in the 2002 and 2004,
yeah, by the late 2000s, they made more zombie. Yeah, they made more zombie movies than they made like in the point since like Night of the Living Dead had been fucking made.
Yeah,
like there are so many just shit zombie movies.
I think it's stopped a little bit, like it slowed down a little bit, only
once
because a lot of it
Dead came out.
It's migrated to TV. There's like 1,000 TV shows about zombies. But like there's still solid zombie movies coming out. I still like Train to Busan. I really enjoy.
I still haven't seen Train to Busan.
Yeah.
Speaking of modern zombie movies, did you see the trailer for Zombieland 2?
Yeah, it looks pretty middling to bad.
I think it looks fucking god-awful.
Okay. I'm not that far down the trip.
Oh, when they had...
Mostly because I saw Beck from Victorious is going to be in it, so I'm like, oh, gotta watch this.
Yeah, when they had, like, it looks so fucking bad. Like, that part where, like... Because I'm just describing stuff from the trailer, so if you don't want the trailer spoiled for you, you better skip ahead a few seconds.
Run!
Run! Don't stop! Don't look back! Just start running, okay? Because spoilers for Zombieland 2's trailer is fucking coming at you. Alright, like the part where, like, the blonde chick isn't wearing her seatbelt and she just... whoopsie, like to the front of the car, and she's like ditzy laughing. That's dumb.
Oh, yeah.
The bit where they have like their fucking doppelgangers at the end of the trailer, that was dumb.
I think most of the whole trailer is dumb, but I usually don't say a movie looks terrible from the trailer because usually it's just like it's not the director making the trailer, so I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I can definitely like.
I try to just
get that.
I try to, like, not have too much judgment from a trailer itself kind of thing.
Normally, I'd agree with that, but like, my personal opinion, typically in this day of age, they tend to show, like, 90% of the fucking movie in the trailers, and it's just, like, the fact that, like, I don't think that there's any like smart way that they could like pull off having them have doppelganger characters or having a dumb blonde. Like, who knows? Maybe I'll sit down in the theater.
Maybe you'll think it's a masterpiece.
And I'll be like, holy shit, this is the greatest zombie movie since fucking Day of the Dead in 1985. Or Return
Are you
of
a
the
fan
Living
of the
Dead.
first Zombieland?
I was when I was
decent.
12. I think it's got its moments. I remember thinking it kind of towards the later part of the film. But the first part of the film I remember like really enjoying. And I enjoyed it when I was like 12, but I haven't like watched it since I was like a teenager. So I can't say from my honest opinion on what I would think of it today.
Got it.
Yeah, that looked bad.
Yeah.
Honey Boy.
Honey Boy looks good.
Looks like it could be pretty good.
I'm excited for Honey Boy.
Lucas Hedges looks like he does a pretty good Shia impersonation.
Lucas Hedges is a really good actor for the most part, and most of the things I've seen him, and he's been pretty.
I've heard like overwhelming negative things, but the only thing I've
Really?
Yes.
From what?
Mostly from like YMS's crowd, like
yeah.
from like that kind of audience. The only thing I've seen him in is Lady Bird, I think.
Okay.
I just picked up the Blu-ray for
Wiggly Hands?
No, the director of In Bruges did. It was like
Three Billboards.
Three Billboards.
Great movie. I really enjoyed Three
Yeah, I just
Billboards.
picked up the Blu-ray for that, so I'll probably watch that soon. And Manchester by the Sea's been on like my list for a couple of years, so I'll check those out and kind of broaden my Lucas Hedges perspective.
Oh, I forgot the most important movie I watched this week.
What?
Unplanned.
Oh yeah, you messaged me about, or you messaged the group about
the Pure Flicks anti-abortion
movie.
film that is full of lies. It is a hilarious thrill ride. It's terrible, absolute trash.
See, that's the kind of bad movie I might be.
Don't
able to
give
stomach.
them money, but watch it. It's so funny.
Oh, yeah, I'll see if I can find a tortilla for it later or something.
There's a part where she has to help with an abortion, and they're sucking out the baby with like a little vacuum, and she's like, "I've worked here 8 years, and I've never helped with an abortion," and then she's like, it's just like sucking it, and she's like, "Wait, but the baby's moving," and the baby's on the ultrasound just going like this, just wiggling around, and she's just like, "Oh no, it's moving," and the doctor's like, "Oh yeah, they always do that," and it's just like sucking the baby out, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my god! I mean, I'd probably have to see the scene and the tone it kind of pulls
It's
off.
just so funny because they paint all the Planned Parenthood workers, besides like her, as like these evil people. But the doctor's like, "I love killing things." They're like,
Look, that's a living thing. That's a living human in there. And you're laughing at its pain and agony? Where is the humanity?
One of the Planned Parenthood, like, HR people was like, "You need to sell more abortions. That's what makes us money." And she's like, "I didn't sign up for this." And they're like, "Yeah, but this is your job." And she's like, "Yeah, and I was really good at selling abortions. I was like a car salesman." And I'm just like,
How do you sell an abort? Do you like just go up to random pregnant women on the street and be like, "Hey, you know, I know that you're looking forward."
it. She'd be like, "Okay, I know you're just thinking about like." She'd be like, "Okay, so you just want an ultrasound? You want to get rid of it as well?" Like, that'd be pretty much it. And it was just so fucking funny and terrible. Oh.
Huh.
I also watched Batman the Killing Joke.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
That one's
Well, I like
fucking awful.
I like the kill. Like I like the Killing Joke, but I don't.
I haven't read The Killing Joke, but all I know is that it's like pretty. It's pretty polarizing even now. Like even the whoever wrote the comic, like even like 5 years later, it was like, yeah, that was too much. Like, I think it goes a little too far. And the movie it goes even further. And it's really gross. The movie's really fucking gross.
Yeah, and I don't like that they added that beginning part with, like, that Batgirl story.
Because it just...
Spoiler alert! She sleeps with Batman.
It just makes her... The whole, like, bad part about The Killing Joke, like, from general consensus, both the comic and the movie, is that it's just objectifying Batgirl, and it's using her trauma to, like, further the plot of, like, these two central, like, male characters.
Yeah.
And her adding that whole plot line at the beginning about just her that pretty much ends with, like, it just objectifies her even more, pretty much. It's just terrible. It's a fucking awful film.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that one.
Oh, yeah. I did watch Gone in 60 Seconds, the Nick Cage film.
How was it?
Bad.
Oh.
But, you know.
I mean...
I had seen it when I was a kid, so I knew pretty much everything that was going to happen. I didn't remember it enough as a kid, like, to, like, rate it. But so I wanted to rewatch it for Nick Cage, because I'm trying to watch all of them. But
Nicholas Coppola is the great.
Yes. Thomas didn't know that, for anyone that doesn't know, Nicholas Cage is the cousin, the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, director of The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, all that jazz.
Yeah, I knew Jason Schwartzman was his nephew, but I didn't realize that fucking Nick
Jason
Cage
Schwartzman is maternal cousin of Nick Cage, and that means Nick Cage is also cousins with, like, Sofia Coppola. Like, he's a Coppola. When he was a kid, I was reading an article recently. I read Nick Cage articles probably twice a week.
Is the audience aware of your holy quest?
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever talked about it. I'm currently on a quest. It's been ongoing for about a year now to watch every Nick Cage movie. I think I have about 70 of them done, and there's about 103 out, I believe.
I thought about doing the same thing, but for Willem Dafoe.
Which he has even more, because he's an older actor.
Yeah, but I think it'd be worth it. I love Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe's a great actor. And honestly, like, even the shit Nicolas Cage has made, I've enjoyed watching almost all of them. There's a couple that are just fucking dreadful. But... like, I've enjoyed my time, and I'm really excited for this year and next year for Nick Cage. There's a lot of, like, really interesting ones coming out that might not be good.
When is that Escape from New York-esque one coming out? The one where he's, like, gotta save the president's daughter?
The one by Sion Sono.
Oh, is that who's directing it? Oh, okay.
Prisoners of the Ghostland. It was originally slated for this year, but it got pushed back to next year.
Mm-hmm.
Sion Sono had a heart attack this year, and he said that it didn't affect anything. And I don't think it did because the movie's still in pre-production, but I'm sure it pushed it a little bit.
Probably a little bit. Yeah.
And Sion Sono makes, like... There's years where Sion Sono makes 3 movies. Like, he's fucking crazy. He's like, I'm gonna make a bunch of movies this year! Like Nick Cage, but he's directing. So
yeah, acting in several different movies and, like, being the creative force that creates several different movies... are pretty different. Like, not trying to, like, knock down actors or anything. Like, it's...
fuck actors! Who needs them?
Acting, like, it takes a lot of skill and hard work, and I commend actors, but I think it's just generally known that directors obviously are the fucking, like, usually, it depends on the production and, like, what kind of a movie it is, but a lot of the time directors shoulder a lot of work.
Yeah. And a lot of the crew does, like, a lot. Cinematographer, editor. Editor's so fucking important. If you have bad editing in your movie, oof.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh. Yeah, so I'm working on watching all the Nick Cage movies, but there's a couple ones that this year that I'm pretty excited for. And, like, last year I had a pretty decent amount of good ones, like Spider-Verse and Mandy both came out. Yeah,
it seems like he's out of that tremendous debt that he was
and he did that a couple years ago. And Nick Cage, what he does is a lot of the movies he picks them because they're interesting and they'll let him act the way he wants.
Yeah,
and
there's that couple year period where he was just taking whatever. Like, he was in, like, the Left Behind remake.
Well, yeah, and he still is in a lot of shitty movies, but he's in them for the right reason now, kind of thing. Like, he wants to be in them now. which is fine. You know, I've seen a lot of shit from the past couple of years, but at least he seems a little happier. And that's all I want, Nick Cage to be happy.
Yeah. No more getting drunk and marrying random women.
Oh, that poor guy.
Like, he was like, I had no idea what was going on. He married that woman.
That's literally a plot thread from Friends.
Is it really?
Yeah, Ross and Rachel get married while they're drunk.
At least Ross and Rachel had like probably seasons of development up to that point, developing their aren't they relationship. I fucking hate Friends. Anyone who's listening, sorry, not sorry.
I used to really love Friends. I tried to rewatch it recently, and I'm like, oh.
I am not a big fan of sitcoms.
I didn't have like Nickelodeon or Disney or Cartoon Network growing up. I had TBS. Like that was all I had. So I grew up watching sitcoms. So they'll always have like a...
Like I grew up watching sitcoms too, and there are sitcoms that I like, but for the most part, I like probably like 99.9% of sitcoms I don't like. Like I don't like Friends. I don't like How I Met Your Mother. Like a lot of like the more kind of contemporary sitcoms I don't like. I like sitcoms that kind of break it down and like deconstruct sitcoms. Like It's Always Sunny, I really like.
That's a good one.
It's a fucking great one. I love like Married with Children. I like dysfunctional sitcoms that focus on like dysfunctional families, I guess. I don't know. I like Modern Family. That one's pretty good. So I haven't watched like all of it, but the handful of episodes I have seen, I've kind of enjoyed.
Modern Family's decent, yeah. It went on too long. It's still going on.
Is it?
I believe so. I believe it's still going. Like it's so obviously there's going to be a lot of shit, but it's pretty solid.
I think most sitcoms tend to go on because even like the sitcoms I like go on for too long. Like Married with Children did not need 11 seasons.
That's fucking true.
But hey, we got them. We got 11 seasons worth of content. But yeah, so what's your movie idea for this week, London?
Wait, didn't you want to hear, I had that plot point about Nick Cage about that one movie.
Oh, you did?
So I wanted to talk about real quick, especially because we talked about Nick Cage. So Peggy Sue Got Married is kind of an less known Francis Ford Coppola film about this woman. She's married to Nick Cage. Like, this is when they were both like 20. I can't remember who's it's her. I can't remember who plays her. Let me check. And Nick Cage, and they're married, and she like wishes that she wasn't married or something like that, and it's like a flashback. She suddenly like wakes up and she's like 18 again, and it's like, oh, it's Kathleen Turner.
What is the? I'm assuming you've seen it, which is why I'm about. Well, not this, but there's another Nick Cage movie.
The Christmas one, The Family Man.
Yes, yeah, you knew exactly what I was talking
exactly
about.
what we were going to talk about.
Because I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of like that.
Yeah, so this is 86, so Nick Cage was pretty new to the scene still. I think the first thing he was in was 83? 82? Let me check. It was The Best of Times. It was a failed TV pilot. It's pretty much a 45-minute movie. It's pretty bad.
That's feature length.
It's the acting debut of him and Crispin Glover.
Oh.
So it's worth it for that. That was 81. So he was still pretty new to the scene. And even then, he was in a lot of movies. He was just going.
Probably the mad family connections, yo.
Well, the big thing is he didn't want...
I know he changed his name.
That first thing he was in, he was credited as Nicholas Coppola. But then after that, he was Nicolas Cage. He didn't want to really use his family.
Where do you think he got the inspiration for the last name, Cage?
I don't know. It's cool.
Is Mortal Kombat out at that point?
No?
No?
The 80s? No?
Okay, that's,
Maybe?
probably 90s. Maybe late
Let's see.
80s. Maybe the arcade was out in the 80s.
Mortal Kombat. Yeah, that started in 92.
Okay.
So
So it wasn't that.
maybe David Cage was based on it, though.
Maybe. Is it David or Johnny?
David Cage is somebody else. Johnny Cage is the guy from Mortal Kombat.
It's like, oh shit, I better step on that one before the comments do.
But Nicolas Cage was just in a lot of movies. He wasn't very rich compared to a lot of his family. There was like a stigma. He went to like a private school. He was at school with a lot of rich kids, but he himself wasn't. Like his immediate family wasn't very rich.
Okay.
So he wanted, every time, like I think he would go to Coppola's house like every summer kind of thing, and he wanted to be him. So like that's what strove him. Like that's why he strove to like work so hard and be in so many movies.
Well, I'm glad you did it, Nick, because you brought light to my life, and I'm sure many others, with hours of endless shit, but hours of endless entertainment, and even some good quality movies in there too. Because when he's utilized correctly, he is a phenomenal actor.
If you haven't seen it, watch Leaving Las Vegas, the movie that he won his Oscar for. It's fucking brilliant. Very intense.
Like the two biggest ones I want to watch are that one and
Adaptation.
three biggest ones I want to watch are that adaptation. I think I want to watch adaptation this weekend.
There's
I don't
quite a lot of Nick
because
Cage
I bought
movies
The
I think
Orchid
are-
Thief and started
And
reading
you
that,
didn't read it.
and it's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna watch the movie because I'm like, oh, if I read the book that the movie's trying to kind of adapt, I'll have a deeper understanding of the movie. And it's like, fuck it. If I really want that deeper understanding of the movie,
Wild at Heart was the other one you were going to say.
Okay, 4.
Moonstruck
No.
with Cher. Great movie.
Lords of War.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I need to rewatch it as well.
Yeah, I want to watch that one.
You know what other one you should watch? Joe.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that one.
By the director of the Halloween remake from last year.
Oh.
I'm sure it's better than that. I didn't see it, but Joe's great.
I thought the Halloween sequel from last year,
Whatever.
it might as well have been a fucking remake. They called it the same fucking thing. Why they
Isn't
decided
it great
to call
that there's 3 Halloweens?
Yeah. It's like, why
This is Halloween.
why they couldn't have, like, added a subtitle or maybe...
Halloween H40.
Like, it didn't have to be... that because that's what... I remember, like, when the trailers and stuff were out, like, that's what fans were calling it. Because it's like,
Because
what
that's
else are you
what
supposed
it
to
is.
fucking call it? Halloween 2018? That's not fun.
What about Halloween 2020?
Like, they should have called it, like, Halloween.
Even like some shitty thing like Rebirth would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because at least it has a subtitle. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, like, something that gets the point across. But no, I think they were just trying to market this as like a, hey, you don't need to see the other like 9 movies we made. It's just called Halloween. Go see it. It's only connected to the first one though. And it's like, I don't know. I thought it was okay. Like the actual movie itself was fine. I thought the kills were kind of lame because they kind of just ripped kills from some of the other sequels and like redid them. You know, fuck it, I take it back. It's not very good. I like thinking about it more. I didn't really like the Halloween sequel.
Okay.
There were moments in it that were fine, but all in all, didn't really care for it.
Oh,
So I'm done rambling about
my
Halloween.
real quick story, and then we'll talk about our movie ideas.
Okay.
So Peggy Sue got married. Nick Cage had been in Rumblefish which was another Francis Ford Coppola film with Matt Dillon starring. Great movie. It's a great movie.
I'll have to check it out. Like Matt Dillon.
Nick Cage had a pretty small role in it, but he's pretty decent in it. And then he was also starring in a movie called The Cotton Club, I think it's called, by Francis Ford Coppola. I haven't seen that one, but I've heard it's decent as well, or pretty good. But he was also in Peggy Sue Got Married, but I was reading this article, and Nick Cage was like, I don't want to be in this, uncle! And Francis Ford Coppola is just like, you got it, Nicky. You got it. And he's like, okay. But only if I can do it my way. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, I want to play my character really fucking annoying. Like, that's literally what he said. Because he wants to play, like, characters that are characters. And he wanted to be like, I want to be Pokey from the Gumby show. Like, he was, like, playing, like, all these, like, really eccentric characters that he wanted to be, like, similar to.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that shit in fucking years.
So Francis is like, we can try it. So they, like, tried it. And Nick Cage, like, pissed everyone in the crew off because they're like, he's joking, right, with this performance. And because he didn't want to do it. And then the guy, like, literally one of the agents from the company, like, came to fire Nicolas Cage. And Coppola's like, no, he's gonna be in it. And he made Nicolas Cage be in it. And his performance was toned down. And he's pretty decent at it. He actually sings in that. And Nick Cage has a pretty good voice when he wants to sing. Like, he sings in that and he sings in Wild at Heart. And it's just so funny. But that was the last time he worked with Coppola. He's like, fuck you.
Understandable.
Because, like, there's these two, like, giant forces that are, like, opposing each other. Because Nick Cage is like, I'm going to act the way I want. Pretty much. Like, especially early on in his career, he wanted to just kind of, like, channel what he was feeling at that moment. And it worked really well with some of the directors. Like, when he was in the Raising Arizona with the Coen brothers, they kind of just let him be whatever he wanted to be. Yeah. And it worked really well. And then now he's, like, toned it back. He, like, if the director's like, I'm not too sure about that, he'll listen to him. Yeah. But early on in his career, he's like, no, I gotta figure out what my acting style is. So he's just like, I'm gonna be crazy.
Well, the Coen brothers are really, really good at, like, kind of, like, casting bizarre, quirky, weird characters in their movies. Like, they always have, like, really colorful characters. And I think that's, like, part of their style.
Yeah,
part of what makes their movies so engaging.
Definitely.
Alright, what's your fucking movie?
What's my movie idea? Didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Or did I?
Did you?
Yeah.
What is it? Quick, tell me.
Okay. If you really want to know. Are you sure?
Are you stalling right now?
No, I'm not stalling. Okay. So picture this.
Okay.
It's about a young woman. She's a farmer. And one day, well, she works on a farm. She hangs out with her dog a lot. One day there's a tornado that comes around.
Okay.
And she's like running from the tornado. And her family's like, oh, get in the house. But she gets sucked up in the tornado. And
is this going where you think it's going?
She dies.
I was expecting her to go to the wonderful land of Oz.
Well, yeah, but then you said this is going where I'm expecting.
Oh, nice.
Like, better switch it up. And, but her dog survives. And her dog's like trying to find its way home. It's like The Adventures of Milo and Otis, but it's just about this dog. It's a big dog. It's like a Labrador or like a golden retriever. And it's about this dog slowly dragging this dead body across like this barren wasteland of like tornado like destroyed houses and stuff. And it's trying to bring this like dead girl home to her family.
I dig the concept. I can get behind a kind of dark, morbid, one of those like Homeward Bound type movies.
Yeah.
hopefully, if you make it like Milo and Otis, you kill a whole lot less animals.
But how about no animals are killed?
Like
I watched that movie so much as a kid.
I watched it like once when I was a kid, and then I like grew up and I like learned that fact.
Well,
about
I watched
it
it when I was like 5, but I would watch it like every day.
and I was like, "Holy shit!" What?
For those who don't know, The Adventures of Milo and Otis was a
Japanese movie.
Yeah,
that they
from-
dubbed over
with a dog and a cat, and
There were lots of
there were like 40 dogs and cats that died during it.
yeah, like and if you watch the
Like, there's a
movie-
part where they go over the waterfall, and they just actually send a dog and a cat over a waterfall.
Yeah, no, there's like a scene where they chuck a cat off a cliff, and you can like see it land, and like they have a dog, like they have the pug fight a fucking baby bear at one point. And you watch this shit in the movie, and they have a happy narrator talking over it, and it's like, oh, okay, kids won't pick up on this.
They're just having fun.
But if you watch it and realize what it took to get that like on camera, it took a lot of dogs and cats' lives.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. That is fucking insane. Don't kill animals for your movie.
Seriously.
Like, maybe, like, in, like, the Cannibal Holocaust situation, because as far as I know with that one, they killed a turtle, but people over in that area kill turtles to eat them.
Yeah, but like, I haven't seen Cannibal Holocaust, but from the people that I've talked to who have seen it, like, the scene in which they use it for, like, isn't super even needed.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like they killed it to just kill it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, just don't kill any.
Yeah, don't kill any animals.
Even if it's okay in the area, it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, but is it okay where you're from? Like, kind of, it's like, what the fuck?
I say ultimately don't
kill animals for a movie. How about that?
Unless you're going to eat it on screen, and it's like a necessary scene. Then you can.
Maybe if you're filming a documentary and you get lost in the jungle and you actually have to eat an animal because you're starving to death.
I don't know. What if the cast and crew want to try some fucking turtle?
Fuck you.
Huh?
What's your movie idea?
All right.
Did you think of one?
Yeah.
Not as good as mine that I came up with on the fly. I don't know if you know that.
This woman is in a relationship with this terrible bruiser of a guy. Like, he beats her, he drinks, he's awful. She hates him.
A biscuit boxer.
She doesn't want to have a kid with him. She thinks he's like the worst person on earth. And even if she did want to have a kid with him, she wouldn't want the kid anywhere near him because he's terrible. So she goes naturally to get an abortion. But as they're performing the operation, the blender breaks. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to call it a blender. I don't know what the actual...
The vacuum?
I thought they like scramble the baby first and then they vacuum it out. But I don't know. I don't know the logistics of abortions or the procedure. But
we should become abortionists.
You know,
that's what they're called.
I'm perfectly fine with abortion. I don't know if I want to be the one doing it though. You know,
I do.
I mean, I don't like babies very much, but I don't know if my disdain goes that far.
Mine does.
Anyway, so
a woman's getting an abortion, she looks up at me, I'm just like grinning.
She's just like, I fucking love my job. Thank God it's Monday, right?
Then people would believe Unplanned actually is a documentary.
Anyway, she tries to get the abortion. Doesn't work. So for like 9 months, she just tries in various different ways to get rid of this baby. She'll like go to many different abortion clinics, try medicine. At one point, she throws herself down the stairs. Nothing works. This baby is coming, and there's nothing she can do about
It's
it.
like a demon baby.
Well, kind of. Just hear me out. So she starts having, like, dreams. Voices talking to her, telling her, this baby needs to be born. And by the way, this takes place in, like, the 50s.
1950s or, like, 1350s?
The 1950s, you know.
She's going to abortion clinic in the 1350s.
Ye
old abortion center!
Yeah, but, So she goes, has all these dreams, and she's like, no, I don't care what the dreams say. I'm probably fucking crazy. This baby's going. So she continues trying to kill the baby. Doesn't work. And the end of the film, she gives birth to Kermit the Frog. It's a Muppets prequel.
Shut the fuck up. Incredible. Well, if you like that idea, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe.
And you can just make the movie. You can have it.
Yeah,
It's a
Brian
preview.
Henson. You like making the edgy Muppet movies now, right?
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit.
Do it!
Not you. You're not a piece of shit. Just the last movie you made was fucking awful.
What?
Happy Time Murders. He did that.
I know that they did. I don't know if he was a part of it, but like a few years ago, they tried doing that like Office Muppet
I've heard
show.
my friends just watched that recently, and apparently they said it's really good.
I heard it was really not good, but
Everything I know of from it, I've heard it's good. Like everyone that I know that has seen it, that I trust because they love the Muppets.
See, I like the Muppets a lot. Like, I have a lot of like nostalgic association with them, but I don't like everything Muppets.
Oh, I definitely don't either.
Like,
There's a lot of movies I don't like. The Muppets.
the Muppets 2011.
Shut the fuck up. That one's amazing.
It is not the worst Muppet movie I've seen. I'll give it that.
Okay.
And hell, I'd probably even put it kind of towards the top, but I didn't particularly care for it.
Well, I don't.
Like, I don't think it was like
care for this conversation. No.
Like, I didn't find it offensively bad, but it wasn't up my alley.
Oh, the shit alley.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I loved your idea for your movie.
Oh, thank you.
Did it take you long to write that down? Did you start with Kermit Born?
Well, actually, no. It started off with the idea that Kermit the Frog was going to be a basketball player, and I'm like, this is a little bit like Space Jam. I better change it up.
So it's like, what if he was like the Antichrist?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we watched two movies this week for the podcast. We watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990 by Steve Barron, if I remember correctly, and Ghostmates from 2016. Who was Ghostmates directed by?
Some guy. I don't know. his name.
Written by Ian Hecox, and actually, no, it wasn't. It was written by Ryan Finnerty. Directed by Jack Henry Robbins, who...
You mean Smosh had no hand in the writing of this movie whatsoever?
I'm sure they did, but the main writer was Ryan Finnerty.
Does it not like list either of them?
I'm just on the Letterboxd page,
Okay.
so I'm going to go to the IMDb page. There's a chance that it's just not, you know. Also, not a lot of people, like, it only has 600 ratings on IMDb, and it has like 100 ratings on Letterboxd. Not a lot of people saw this.
Gee, I wonder why.
It was
It's
too
almost
good.
Like it's a YouTube
It-
original movie
they
behind a paywall.
I would have to look at the credits on YouTube Red kind of thing,
Yeah.
but on IMDb they're not listed as writers either.
Well, I'm surprised anyone wrote that fucking movie.
So we're not talking about that one yet. Ghostmates is good. We're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1990. What do you think?
I fucking love it.
This was the first time I'd seen this. Growing up, I owned the third one on DVD, and I was a child, so I loved it. I thought it was great. The last time I watched it, I still enjoyed it, but that was like 10 years ago. So
I want to talk about my relationship with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and yours a little bit, because we both grew up as TMNT fans.
yes,
I didn't watch any of like the cartoons or anything.
okay.
I'd seen like a handful of episodes from like different, like interpretations of it. Like I had seen like a handful of like the 80s cartoon. I had seen like a handful of episodes from like the 2000s one that
Yes,
you grew up with.
2003.
The one I was actually surprisingly most familiar with was the sequel to that one where they're in the future.
Yep, fast forward.
Yeah, that's the one.
Which is technically just the 5th and 6th season of the show. Because during the 7th, I believe, they go back.
You said
Back to the sewers!
you said you've got like the entire series.
I have the entire series.
I'll have to grab that next time I'm here because I do want to go through
It's, go ahead and then I'll talk about my
but
relationship.
my exposure to TMNT as a kid was like the movies, like the first, the second movie, the third movie, even though I didn't really care for it that much. And I remember liking the like animated one that they did in 2007,
Yeah,
which I think most people consider as the fourth one to that series.
I enjoyed it too when I saw it. I would like to rewatch it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I
I have
haven't
enjoyed
watched-
every TMNT movie I've seen. I haven't thought any of them were like high art or anything, but
No.
even like the Michael Bay ones, I enjoyed. Like, I think they're fun.
I saw the first Michael Bay one in theaters, and I remember having some pretty big gripes with it, but I remember thinking that there were certain aspects about it that they actually really did pretty well for the characters. Like, I remember the scene that stands out to me is like the elevator scene where they're like beatboxing. I remember liking the snowboarding scene.
The snowboarding scene's dope. Like, there's some pretty dope stuff.
And it's just produced by Michael Bay, isn't it? I don't think he directed it.
Probably just produced by him. Let me check. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
And I never watched the second one.
Yeah, it was Jonathan Liebsman who did the first one. Oh, director of such hits as Wrath of the Titans and The Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning
Oh,
from 2006.
I never watched Wrath of the Titans because I thought
Terrible.
Clash of the Titans remake was god awful.
I think I saw both in theaters
And
because I'm a
I can say,
psychopath.
but I can say for certainty that Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning is pure fucking garbage.
You mean really good?
If by really good you mean
meant to say?
a really good example of some prime fucking garbage, then yes. Because that movie's bad. I like the actual remake that it's a prequel to, but that movie was not good.
Oh yeah, my relationship with TMNT.
Yeah,
I never watched the 80s cartoon growing up just because it wasn't available to me anywhere really.
I torrented. Oh,
What?
what? What did I do? I found a DVD in my backyard. I dug it up of the first season of the 80s show, and I watched like the first episode.
I've seen like a couple episodes here.
Because I was like, maybe I'll like slowly like watch through it if I enjoy it, but I don't think I'd be able to get through the 80s series.
Like
I think it's a little too aimed at a younger demographic.
But I think the 2003 series is pretty fucking dope. Like, even now I was rewatching it. But I had the third movie on DVD. I had access to like 4Kids TV when that was on. That's where I saw. So like the cartoons growing up I watched was Yu-Gi-Oh!, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kirby, Right Back at Ya. Those were like the three big ones. And like Chaotix, if you remember that one. It was like a card game kind of, but they became the monsters. It was like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Ben 10 combined.
See, that explains why I never watched that TMNT growing up, because I didn't watch 4Kids, because I fucking hated anime as a kid. I did not like it.
It's because you hate Japanese people.
Well, I like them now. No, it wasn't because I hated Japanese people.
You're just walking around going, I hate them.
But I was able to like notice the like difference in visual style, which was a really like big turnoff for me. And I remember because I like a lot of my friends were into like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, and I would like catch episodes here and there like over at their houses.
This is gay!
And I was like, this is fucking boring. All they do is talk. Which,
fair enough.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I've seen pretty much every episode of TMNT, except that I don't think I ever watched the final season, which is when they got back from the future.
What? How do you get back from that? Like,
well, they went through a time machine.
Well,
so they fixed the time machine.
In terms of like trying to keep a story interesting, if you jump the shark to go to the future and then you go, hey, let's take it back to the
Well, I mean, like, even when they went to the future, they didn't ever really have a villain that was as great as, like, the original Shredder. Like, there were some great villains in the future, but Shredder's a great villain. I really like Shredder's design.
That's why they gotta do it like Marvel does with like their 2099 lineup and just create future versions of their past.
I think there is a future Shredder.
I'm sure there is.
Correctly. I haven't seen those. I rewatched the first season recently. Just going through them. And it's great. I really enjoy it still. And I played all the video games. I remember the third one. I know a lot of people don't like it. Like, they say it's bad, but I loved it as a kid. Plus, if you beat it, you unlocked TMNT 4, the arcade game. Turtles in Time. Yeah. You unlocked it. So I had it on Xbox, and you could just play the entire arcade game as well.
Well, that's pretty
cool. It was great. So I played that so much. So, and then I saw the 2007 one. I honestly think I might have seen it for, like, somebody's birthday. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. Like, I've always really loved TMNT, even though I haven't seen the original series very much. And I never saw there was a live action series.
Yeah, and it's all
the 90s and stuff.
Based on a comic.
Which was this fucking
from
brutal.
What I hear,
it was a brutal comic.
This movie adapts, like, pretty well. Like, from what I understand, this movie is a pretty good adaptation.
That's why I think Batman vs. TMNT is a pretty good adaptation, because it's pretty brutal. Like, there's a lot of brutal stuff.
Yeah, like,
Shredder just fucking murders me.
Shredder was fucking badass in that. Like, his little fight scene with Batman, I was like, woo! Sick.
Yeah, so that's our relationships with the show and the characters.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite character growing up? Out of the 4 Turtles?
Raphael.
Raphael, because you're angry.
I am a little...
I was always a Leo man, of course.
Oh, were you?
Yes, oh my gosh! So my grandmother, she's very old. I think she's probably 90 now. But she remarried when she was like 78.
Ah.
And this guy, I think his name's... I know his name's Herschel. I don't know why I think his name. But I went to their wedding. And he's like a woodcutter. He makes sculptures. Yeah. And he made me a turtle.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
He made my own, like, OC pretty much of a turtle, and I had it for years. I think it might still be in my house in Hawaii. But that was great. I was like, I'm the 5th turtle.
Oh, nice.
It was great.
As a kid, I went over to my grandparents a lot, and my uncle was a really big, like, fan of, like, the 80s TMNT, and they kept, like, all of his, like, toys.
So he was a loser. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway.
I was kidding.
No, that's...
Stop punching me, Thomas.
Don't hit yourself.
Oh, God, Thomas is beating me up.
My arms aren't that long. I probably couldn't even fucking reach your face if I...
Oh, God. Oh.
Anyway. But I had, like, a bunch of, like, the 80s, like, toys to play with when I was a kid, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, I really like this movie. I think it's pretty good. I really don't, like, know what to say about it. Like, it's a pretty straightforward movie. Like,
yeah, like, there's scene by scene, I have a couple things to say, but we should probably just go through our little synopsis. Do you want me to do the little synopsis thing?
You can, I can, I don't care.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go through it. If I miss anything, just go, hey, you're missing something. So, right at the beginning, news reports going on about a bunch of, like, the crime in the city has gone way up. Yeah. And it's showing, like, this kid, like, pickpocketing somebody. And he keeps, like, they keep passing it to another person. I'm just like, you don't need to keep passing it on. Yeah. Like, they pass it on to, like, 4 people before handing it off to a guy with a giant, like, gauntlet.
There was one point where I'm like, oh, that's that could probably like work and is kind of clever. And it's when the guy like takes the wallet out of the guy's pocket and hands it to one guy, and it's like, okay, that's a pretty like interesting strat. But as soon as they keep passing it, it's like, okay, this is a little overkill. I don't think he was gonna find you.
And then immediately after that, it cuts to like a guy unloading a truck, and the truck's full of stuff. And he's gone for 5 seconds having a guy sign it.
He goes back. He just has his back turned.
Yeah,
it's not like he's actually gone.
Completely empty.
And then he's like, oh, and he looks around and he doesn't see anybody. And it's like, this is where the biggest problem lies with the movie for me. Because I'm willing to accept a lot in this movie. It's a movie about
I thought it was just funny.
Ninja Turtles. But like the idea that like there's this like secret organization full of like teenagers and that they're like the perfect crimes and there's no witnesses to any of them and no trace left behind and not a single one of them has spilled the beans. It's like,
it was pretty funny.
It's like, okay,
it was silly, well, but I was okay.
Yeah,
because it was just silly. Like, it was a silly movie.
Yeah. Well,
for the most part,
because
kind of
once you get like outside of the premise of the movie, it takes itself like decently seriously, aside from like the like goofy shenanigans of like Michelangelo and Donatello.
Donatello was like much goofier than like I thought he would be, because like in like the 2003 series and pretty much everything after that, like he's just kind of like, I'm the smart one.
To my understanding, they didn't quite have the dynamic that like modern turtles have, where they're kind of grouped in. Like,
because Donatello and Mikey just were kind of interchangeable in this film, except Donatello also was like, I also know things.
To my understanding, the original cartoon, they're all kind of interchangeable, except Leonardo's the leader and Michelangelo is like the super funny, whoa, extreme guy. And then I think this movie is the one that kind of like introduced Raphael to his like edgelord personality, where he's just,
which I think is pretty iconic for the character.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty important for the character.
And
like,
I don't think they developed Donatello's techie side until like later iterations. So I think that's why he's just kind of there. And
honestly, both him and Mikey are just kind of there.
Yeah, really
it's mostly a Leo and Raph movie.
Yeah, and even then I'd say it leans more towards the Raph side. Leo's he definitely has his like,
but it's a arc,
but it's,
which is fine.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
It's funny because I think the third one is more like a Mikey movie, if I remember correctly.
I remember.
I think it's Mikey who's like, I want to stay in rural China or whatever. Japan. Yeah, it's Japan. He's like, I want to stay. Okay, so
can you imagine if like it was like the three Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the one like ancient Japanese guy?
Like, hey man,
hey man, I love this lampshade I got on my head. God.
Yeah, but it's just showing a bunch of ridiculous crimes happening, and April O'Neil is covering it, and she fucking is like, unfortunately, all we have are the police. She fucking says that, and I'm like,
she's straight up just fucking roasts the police the entire fucking movie.
Then she starts walking from the news station. She sees a rat, just a small little rat, like across the street, and she like screams and runs away. And then she keeps walking to her car. And she gets mugged by a bunch of like teenagers. But watch out, because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show up in the darkness and beat all the people up.
Yep.
Actually, these aren't teenagers. These are just regular muggers. These are the old muggers. They're like 25.
Teenagers are the next scene at the train station.
So yeah, they try to mug her, but she is saved by the turtles, but Raph drops his sai, and she, like, takes it. She's like, oh, the sai. Free sai.
Yeah, puts it in her purse before the police see it, and he's just like, dang.
And then they do, like, an intro pretty much. That's when like the intro starts, like music starts playing, and all the turtles start walking in. And this is great.
I remember, because this is like one of the things that I remembered from when I was a kid, and because I like the concept of the intro, but I think they like something about the timing of the editing I noticed when I was watching it.
It was a little funky.
I was like, ooh, that's a little rougher than I remember. But I remember as a kid when like you just, because you don't see any of them
until just then. Besides like his eyes.
Yeah, you see him in like shadows, and you can't really make them out. And then you see like their actual shadows like walking around like a sewer corner. And then I think it's Donatello who jumps, and then the title pops up, and you see like him in his turtle glory for the first time. And it's like, I like the concept of that, but like I said, something about like the pacing of the editing in that part came out a little weird. But yeah, no, like I still like that intro. Like I think it's good.
I really like the suit design.
Yeah,
it's by Jim Henson Company, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it looks great.
The suits look really good, and honestly, I loved the look of Splinter.
Yeah, no,
was it just a puppet for Splinter? I don't think it's somebody in a suit.
I think
because of like the head dimensions and stuff, it doesn't look like somebody could fit in it.
I know in a lot of the sequels they tend to show up from like the waist up, so it probably was a puppet.
But the puppetry on Splinter was pretty spot on. Like, I really enjoyed it, and like the scenes in which he's like sad or like being tortured like look really good. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like there's a literal point because they get like at least a little bit in terms of like visual Christ symbolism, because they have him like,
because Splinter is Christ.
Yeah, because they like, this movie's got like some straight up fucking like tension in it, because it's like you don't. I mean, obviously I had seen it, but like it seemed like there was a huge possibility that Splinter would die.
Yeah, I had seen the third one, so I'm like, well, I know he's not dead. Yeah. So, but yes, no, seeing that for the first time and not knowing anything, I could definitely see that.
And it's just like, he's like fucking just strung up on some chains and the fucking like foot ninja hideout, and
there's like, God.
There's the scene where the kid and Casey are like dragging him out by his arms, and he kind of like looks like Christ propped up on the cross, and it's just like, oof.
So they're just like eating pizza. They order pizza. The delivery man comes and he's like, "Where the fuck am I supposed to deliver this?" And Mikey's just like, "Just slip it down here from like inside." And I've always thought that that's so funny. And he's like, "I gotta get a new route."
Yeah. It's like, I thought I delivered everywhere.
And Raph really wants to get his sai back, but Splinter's like, "No, you lost it. It's with a human now." So Raph's like, angry. He's like, "I'm angry because I lost my sai and nobody loves me and I'm edgy." So he's like, "I'm going to go on a walk." And he just puts on a trench coat and a hat. And he's just walking around and nobody notices he's a fucking turtle.
He goes and watches Critters of all the fucking
is that what he was watching?
Yeah, you see the big Critters poster like behind him as he's walking out of the theater. And it's like, did the fucking concessionist not realize he was a fucking turtle? Like, I worked at a movie theater. I know what it's like to sell people tickets, and even if they're in a fucking trench coat and a hat, you'd be able to see their fucking face.
But, and then somebody gets mugged? Yeah, somebody gets mugged again, and Raph stops these two guys from this mugging and throws the purse back, and then Casey Jones shows up.
Yeah, basically just beat the shit out of him after Raph had already
and Raph is like, "What are you doing?"
It's like, look, they already learned their fucking lesson.
He's like, "Oh, you gotta learn a lesson too?" And then they get into a little fight, and he's like, "What are you, some kind of punker? Why are you wearing a green makeup?
Yeah.
Why do you look like a frog?"
What the fuck? Casey Jones as an actor in this movie reminded me so much of Andrew Garfield. Like, just in
Garfield could do a good Casey Jones if he had longer hair.
Anyone, like, I don't know who owns the rights to TMNT's like movie production currently, but anyone who's not Michael Bay, if you hear this and you want to make like a quality like live action TMNT movie again, Hire Andrew Garfield as Casey Jones, because he'll do a really good job, probably.
Yeah.
Assuming he wants to work on it.
And then Casey Jones runs off, and Raph's like running after him. He like jumps in front of a taxi, and the passenger's like, "What the fuck was that?" And the taxi's just like, "Looked like a turtle in a trench coat." And he just says it so nonchalantly, just like, "Yeah." Just because, like, New York taxi drivers are supposed to be, like, have seen everything. Yeah, just a turtle in a trench coat. I thought that scene was really funny.
It's nothing compared to the time that the giant steak puff marshmallow man came to life and stepped on a church.
Yeah. Raph gets home and Splinter's just, like, sitting in there in the dark with a match lit waiting for him.
Yeah,
he's like lighting the candle. He's like, "My son." In his weird rat sensei voice.
Yeah.
And he just talks about how, like, Raph's the only one who doesn't, like, want to do things as a team, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
You gotta work as a team.
Yeah, his anger is gonna, like,
Cause problems.
make him bitter, end up probably, like, ruining his relationships with his brothers, but if he learns how to just fight together, they can be so great.
The police aren't doing any. April O'Neil's like, the Foot Clan. They think that
because
April's onto a story because there's a bunch of like Japanese immigrants who are like, this string of crimes is just like this thing that happened in Japan. And she's like, by the Foot Clan. And the police won't investigate it because they're called the Foot Clan, and that sounds silly. That's pretty much the reasoning behind it.
Pro tip, if you want to do something extremely evil and immoral, just give it a silly name.
Yeah.
And no one will take it seriously.
Club.
Yeah, so the Silly Club...
The Silly Club committed genocide.
Yeah, the Silly Club committed genocide. Oh, they expect me to believe that some group of people called the Silly Club committed genocide. Yeah, right. Like I believe that. That's just silly.
That's just Silly Club. But Shredder is watching her through like 300 TVs. Yeah. He has a wall of like CRT TVs, and some of them are broken. I'm like, why are these broken? And I'm like, oh, he just answered my question because he throws a knife into one. And I'm like, what are you doing, Shredder? You're breaking all your TV. So he sends the Foot Clan, some of the Foot Clan after
to go get more TVs.
After her. So in the subway, she's jumped by them, but suddenly Raphael shows up and saves the day, but she's knocked out. So he's like, and they're still after him. So he's like, oh, you better run. So he runs with her back to the sewer. Back to the sewer hideout. Of course, he's followed. He doesn't see them, but they're sneaky, and they follow him. And April wakes up and sees that there's talking turtles and a talking rat, and she freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then
she's like, I know, I saw you in the sewer. I'm dreaming. And then he explains their origins.
And then Master Splinter says this. Well, it's a pretty simple story. He says it's a simple story. And then goes, so I moved from Japan. And I got lost in the sewer. And one day, I found 4 turtles in radioactive goo. And I got them out of it and took them home. And the next day, I'd found out that we'd all grown a lot.
And my intelligence
had been growing rapidly. And much to my surprise, a few days later, one of them spoke. And it's like little Donatello, I think, going like, pizza! And it's the cutest fucking thing in the world. The little turtles I love. And the little rat. Yeah. I love like them as like children and like small rat. Oh yeah. And it's like, pizza!
Yeah, no, it's fucking great. And then basically after he explains the origin story.
And then I trained them in the arts of ninjutsu.
Yeah. And then that's basically the gist of the origin story. I don't think there's anything after that he explains in this scene.
And then April's like, well, thanks.
I don't think I'm dreaming, am I?
Yeah. So they take her home, and she's like, well, I invite you guys in, but all I have is frozen pizza. And they're like, did you say pizza?
It's a magic word, a pizza.
So then they go in and eat all their pizza.
Yeah, and then they leave.
They leave, only to find that
Splinter
is missing and their house is destroyed.
Oops.
And it's like, oh, Splinter! So they go back to April's house and they stay there the night.
Yep.
And then there's a small little scene
Where her boss
gets in a
His
little
son
scuffle with
comes
her. He's like, you can't be doing it. You got to take some time off.
the boss's son is our connection to the Foot Clan. By the way, he's
the boss.
It's a little doing.
Yeah, the son steals from
point.
April in the scene. Steals a little money. And then sees one of the turtles who have been hiding in the mirror. The turtle's just underneath I think it's Mikey. He's just under a table. And then he turns around and he's just gone.
Yeah, no, that scene's fucking hilarious. And then she's like, because simultaneously, in the bathroom, she's like, "Hey, can you hand me a towel?" And then she looks in the shower and sees, I think it's Leonardo.
He's just like, "Oh,"
and she's like, "Wait, never mind. I don't want you to see my unkept bathroom or bathtub."
And then he opens the shower,
and he's up on the seat.
Yeah,
you can see him up.
But also, I'm like, who the fuck keeps a towel in their bathtub?
That's a good. Yeah,
I was like,
I thought
what
the same
the
thing.
fuck? And I'm like, whose first idea is to check the bathtub for a towel? That whole scene, I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Traditionally, you have a little rack next to the shower or bathtub.
Yeah.
Or hell, sometimes if you don't have that, you might drape it over where the curtain hangs. But typically, you don't need to open up the shower to obtain the towel. But yeah.
Oh, I need to rewind real quick. The scene where April gets jumped. There's a little by the Ninja clan. There's some races.
Yeah.
They have Asian accents.
It's the only time it goes this far in the movie.
And she goes, "What, did I miss a payment from Sony?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck is that shit?"
Yikes.
So that was definitely a yikes moment.
Oh. Do you recognize the actress who plays April O'Neil in this?
It's, who is it?
It's the mom from the Halloween Town trilogy.
Oh, yes.
And I have
not a fan.
You don't like Halloween Town?
Not really, no.
I have a
Tina Taya loves it.
I have a funny story about Halloween Town.
Do you want to talk about this movie or right now?
I don't know. It's up to you. When do you want to hear it?
Let's finish the synopsis first.
Good call. Just remind me if I don't remember.
So anyway, it cuts back to this kid. After this whole scene, this kid, her boss's son, he's going to this underground place where kids are just playing arcade games and smoking cigars and smoking cigarettes, and drinking beer, riding skateboards, and also training to be ninjas.
Yeah.
And Shredder's like, "We need to find these turtles." And he's like, "I know where they are." That's pretty much the entire scene.
Yeah.
So then there's a fight scene in April's house. Big fight scene. Casey Jones shows up right in the nick of time. Actually, at the very beginning, Raph is on the roof.
Yeah.
He's being brooding.
Because
he's angry.
Oh, no.
He didn't want to wait for Master Splinter.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, we gotta wait until April O'Neil finds a...
I watched the first 10 minutes of the sequel, and in that, the movie, in one of the earlier scenes, they're watching April O'Neil on the news, and Raphael's like, "Come on, isn't Oprah on? Why we gotta watch this stuff? It's boring." And they're like, Leonardo's like, "Stop it, Raph, we're gonna watch April... because we always watch April." And he's like, whatever. And I was getting a little bit mixed up there. I thought he went on the roof because he didn't want to watch April. But
no, he didn't want to wait. He wanted to find Master Splinter, and they're like, "We don't know where he is. We have to wait for a lead."
yeah.
And he was just mad about that. So he's on the roof. He gets jumped by 30 guys.
And Casey spots him on the roof from a few, because he's also on a roof with binoculars.
Yeah, because Casey's being his own weird vigilante thing.
Yeah.
So just wearing a hockey mask and
Looking for crime.
looking for crime in the middle of the day.
And he found it.
So Raph gets wrecked because he just doesn't
Yeah, he takes on like
he
a
takes
lot.
on quite a bit of, but there's like 30 or 40 of them, and he falls through the roof. They throw him through the roof, and he's like passed the fuck out. He's unconscious.
Yeah, he's
and they fight. A bunch of stuff happens. Ninjas jump down from the ceiling, and then it gets too much weight that they fall down into the antique store below.
Yeah,
and like a fire starts, and people are like, "Oh fuck!" Casey jumps in. He's like, "I'm here to help."
yeah, and then
they escape through a back door.
but before they all escape, Casey, who is the last one left, hears a final message on April's answering machine, and it's her boss telling her she's fired because in a previous scene she made a comment about the police chief on air
After he had said,
Yeah.
"Please don't do it."
for basically the entire movie, and she's basically like, well, fuck you, people are gonna know about it, which good for her. Some good integrity.
The soundtrack, the song that plays when Casey Jones walks in and during that fight, I really fucking like that song.
The soundtrack to this movie is like pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite song from the soundtrack.
I'd have to hear it again.
It's dope. That's all you need to know.
I don't remember it off the top of my head specifically. But yeah, so basically they flee to like April's like summer house.
There's a small thing that happens during the answering machine. The boss says, "I know this comes as a blow." Like that's the last thing he says before it cuts out, and the answering machine cord finally breaks, and it hits a ninja on the head and knocks him out. Like, I know this comes as a blow, and then immediately hits him on the head. And I thought that was a great touch.
Yeah,
but then they escape. And they go to April's summer house. Raphael's in a coma.
Yeah. They just have him chilling in a bathtub. Leo is, like, constantly watching him while Donatello forms this weird kind of, like, father bond with Casey.
Yeah, they start hanging out. He's like, there's a weird monologue from April being like, yeah, they've all learned they're getting by.
I didn't like that scene, by the
Donnie
way.
is getting together that. Leo's always with Raph. And then she says nothing about Mikey. She's like, yeah, all the brothers are doing it. But she just skips over Mikey.
It's because Mikey is over just partying somewhere.
Yeah. That was probably my least favorite scene in the movie. There is a really good scene surrounding this, however.
Like, I like the scene where she's, like, drawing the turtles, and I like the points that it makes, but it was just really jarring having a Dear Diary scene halfway through the movie out of nowhere when the film had never done that.
Right before it, though, there's a scene back at the Foot Clan fortress. It's a small scene, but it's where the son finds Splinter. And Splinter says, "How can a face so young hold so many burdens?" And I'm just like, fuck, Splinter's dialogue in this movie is so good.
Yeah. And
I love Splinter as a character.
I think in, like, the kid character, I think Stuart. Yeah, like, because I was, like, you would expect it to come off as, like, ham-fisted or, like, as a, like, MacGuffin or something, just obvious plot device, but I feel like
he's a pretty
handle
good
it pretty
addition.
well.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't feel like he's just a story connection. It feels like, hey, he's an actual character with actual motives, and he hates his dad because he thinks his dad hates him, kind of thing.
Yeah, and you can tell that he's just, like, like a confused kid, and, like, Splinter is, like, the true guidance he needs because, like, obviously, like, Shredder had been enticing all these kids with fun arcade games and cigarettes and beer and skateboard. And then, you know, teaching them awful things like, you know, now murder, steal, and learn how to be, like,
learn how to read.
Subservient ninja slaves to my army.
So then it cuts back. Raph wakes up.
Yeah.
There's actually some pretty good Leo stuff of him just, like, sitting, like, by Raph while he's asleep. Like, there's some really, like, kind of powerful moments of just, like, Leo, like, sitting there, like, hoping his brother wakes up.
Especially since they had, like, that little, like...
They had a little spat
before.
right before they... Yeah. Which has kind of always been their thing, but it was good. They wake up. they're thinking about it. Leo's sitting by a tree, and he's like meditating, and he has a vision of Splinter pretty much, and he knows he's still alive.
Yeah, and then he gathers all the turtles.
And he's like, we have to go back.
Well, they have that little,
Campfire.
yeah,
What happens at the campfire?
they summon, like, Splinter.
Oh, and Splinter pretty much says goodbye.
Yeah,
Because Splinter thinks he's going to die.
and basically the turtles are like,
No.
yeah, fuck that.
We're going to go kill these motherfuckers.
And
So they're like, we have to go back.
you know what I kind of love about this movie? The turtles really don't do much in solving any of the problems. Because they don't find Splinter. That's Casey and the kid's name is Stuart.
I think so.
That's Casey and Stuart who find and save Splinter. Shredder just basically like heads towards their place and fights them, and then when Splinter gets there, he beats Shredder.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then Casey's the one who like actually like, you know, finishes.
Yeah, well,
we'll get to that.
yeah, so they go back.
Do we preface this with spoilers? I mean, at this,
I think people know the whole idea of this podcast. They get it.
yeah,
If I'm going through a synopsis of the film, that's what's going to happen.
yeah.
So they go back. Splinter tells the story of his master, and he said, "The fucking scene." It shows his master training, and it shows Splinter as a regular ass rat also training.
I'm gonna
And
say
he's in a
this.
little like bird cage, and he's like,
I like that way more than the fucking Michael Bay version where it's like, I found a martial arts book in the sewer and
I also do, but the fucking little rat puppet is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's like, the story goes that Shredder, before he was called the Shredder, came in and murdered him.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, and then Splinter broke out of his cage and scratched his face up.
Yep.
And then Shredder cut off his ear. And I'm like, how did Shredder fucking miss? He must fucking suck.
he cut off like a little piece of his ear. I mean, he got part of it. His aim kind of worked. But
then they get into another scuffle because Shredder finds the kid having a picture of the turtles, so knows where they are.
yeah.
And then they get into a big fight with all the ninjas. There's a part where Mikey he's about to be like, his head's about to be chopped up, but he just fucking sinks his head back into his shell, and the guy like hits somebody else, and he goes, I love being a turtle! And I'm like, yes! I love that line!
There's also another part where they like, I don't know if it's during this one or if it's earlier in the movie. I just know it's during one of like the big like fight scenes where there's like a Foot Clan member and like he gets in between two of the turtles and like they just like crush his head in between their shells.
I think that might have been the same scene.
Okay. And it's just like that was funny.
But they keep fighting pretty much, and then they see Shredder on the rooftop, so they start going up. But there's honestly, the action in this movie is pretty decent.
Yeah.
The nice thing about it is, like, there's not a lot of cuts. It's just like a big ensemble of like people fighting. Like you can see multiple fights going on in the same shot.
And it's impressive considering the fact that they're wearing like animatronic suits
Yeah.
as well.
So then they fight Shredder, and they just keep getting wrecked.
Oh yeah.
They keep getting wrecked. But then Splinter shows up, and he's like, Goru-san, or whatever his name was, or whatever Shredder's name was originally. He's like, do you not remember me? I was a small rat at the
And he
time.
like takes off
And he's
his
at
mask.
the very edge of this building. They're on the rooftop. And he's like, come and get me. And Shredder's all pissed. So he's like, oh, I'm going to get you. And this has been right after all the turtles had thrown off their weapons. Because Shredder was like, I'll kill Leonardo if you don't throw off your weapons. But one of Mikey's nunchucks had gotten stuck at the top of the ladder rung. So as Shredder's running at him with this pole arm, Splinter grabs these nunchucks and fucking yeets over the pole arm. He gets it over and he pretty much just throws Shredder off the side.
Yeah.
And Shredder's holding onto the pole arm, and Splinter's like, oh,
you can never defeat me, pretty much. And he's like, you'll die without honor. And then right as he says without, Shredder tries to like throw a knife at him, and Splinter just like catches it and drops him.
He's like,
and Shredder just falls like 30 feet onto his back onto like a metal garbage truck. So he like probably broke his back right there. And then so he's inside this garbage truck, and then Casey just presses the trash compact
yeah, he just
button
kind of like
and
walks
goes,
by.
whoops. And I was like, what the fuck? Holy shit. And then they're just at the top, like, being like, yeah, dude, that was radical. And they keep trying to think of, like, a catchphrase. And then Splinter just like, I like cowabunga. And they're like, yeah, cowabunga. And then he's like, I made a funny. And I was just like, that was, like, the most endearing part. That was probably my favorite line of the film. Just because I love Splinter. And I'm just like, oh, that was perfect. I made a funny.
I'm trying. I had it earlier in the podcast, but I didn't want to like interrupt you. I can't remember what my favorite line in the film is now off the top of my head. I'd have to like.
Oh, it was Danny. Danny was the kid, not Stuart.
Oh, okay. Who is Stuart?
I don't know. Was the boss Stuart?
It might have been the dad.
There's a bad scene at the end where Danny goes up to his dad and he's like trying to be nice, and he's like, actually, it's just Dan now. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid. There's a lot of that's stupid dialogue.
Yeah. Especially since they didn't really like build up to it.
Yeah.
It just kind of came out of nowhere.
But for the most part, I really like the dialogue in this film. I do like my main gripes with the film are that weird racist part from April. Casey's a little too fucking misogynistic. It's a little too much for me. I'm just like, ugh, it's kind of gross. There's a part where he like kind of manhandles her down to like give her a back massage. I'm like, that's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
And like that last scene where he's like, it's Dan now. Like there's a couple dialogue pieces that are a little rough, but for the most part, I really enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Corey Feldman's Donatello. I don't know if you knew that.
I did know that, but I hadn't.
And also, if you listen to it, like right after you do that, you're like, oh, that sounds just like Corey Feldman.
Huh.
But yeah, that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, pretty good movie. What do you give it?
I gave it a 7, honestly.
I'm sitting somewhere between a 6 and a 7. I wanna give it a 7.
Do it.
Alright, I will.
Okay. 7 out of 10. What was the story you wanted to tell?
So, okay.
Okay, you remembered
Halloween.
it because Halloween time.
Yeah.
I completely forgot what we were talking about.
So April O'Neil in this is played by like the mom in Halloween Town. And a funny story about Halloween Town. It was shot like a state over. So it's not.
That's funny.
I know, fucking hilarious. I'm in stitches over here.
Like the movie, Stitches.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
No. But anyway.
It's about a killer clown.
Oh, my favorite genre.
Like Terrifier.
Like Terrifier, yes. Great movie.
We should
watch Terrifier. How would we not like reference Terrifier or the Funhouse, honestly? But, yeah, so, like, every year for Halloween, they do, like, a Halloween Town thing, because they filmed it in that town over there.
What, in Oregon, or?
In Oregon, yeah.
Did you go to it?
Yeah, I did.
That's stupid. No, I'm just...
Well, because me and my roommate Brian at the time were... I mean, neither of us are, like, giant...
Brian Griffin, the dog?
Yes. No. I'm not gonna name drop his last name, because I'm sure he probably wouldn't appreciate me doing that, but...
Hey, Brian. How are you?
Fuck you, Brian. Why don't you fucking come to town anymore, you bitch?
He wants to give you a rim job.
Totally. Anyway, fucking...
Fuck Brian. What an asshole.
Yeah. Fucking having to move away from here.
From my sexy ass.
Seriously. Fuck.
No more rim job.
God. Anyway, so we went to Halloween Town, and we had heard that, like, the actress who played Marnie was supposed to be there. And we were like, oh. But neither of us had, like, seen the movie. And like quite a few years. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I don't think he had either. And there was this woman who was like leading like the ceremony of lighting the great pumpkin in the middle of the town. And she was dressed up as a Maleficent. And we're like, all right, she's dressed up as a witch. You can kind of see it. And she kind of looked like the actress. And we just thought it was her. And there were like a bunch of like kids and like girls who were like older getting their pictures taken with her. And we're like, this is our chance to get our picture taken with a celebrity. So we just kind of like go up and we're like really awkward. We don't like ask to take the picture. There's some other like mom who's like taking pictures and she's like, do you guys want a picture? I'll take the picture for you guys. And me and Brian are just like kind of both awkward and we're like, yeah, sure. So we go up and this lady clearly does not want a picture with us. But we took the picture anyway and it's like the most awkward picture. If you want to, I'll send you the picture and you can like paste it right here. And,
right here in the podcast and now. There it is.
Yeah, there's the picture of me, Brian.
If you're listening to the audio version, fuck you.
Yeah, so sorry, you'll have to click over to the YouTube version. That's a pain that comes with podcasts sometimes. They're not always completely audio.
Yeah, like the last one I slipped my dick into.
Did you really?
No!
Oh. No, I don't watch the visuals.
It's on YouTube. I want to put my dick on there.
For the goofs and the gaps.
Yeah, you said.
But
it was not her, I'm guessing.
No,
I think
we found out later it was not her.
Was it just a random...
I think it was the mayor of that town. But I'm not sure. I don't know. Who are you, lady? Why didn't you want a picture with me?
That's the weird thing. It's like, why was she so opposed to getting a picture with you? He's like, look at this fucker.
Yeah, I guess. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so that's my little Halloween Town story.
Okay. Are you ready to dive into the movie?
Ghostmates?
Ghostmates.
This movie's bad.
Wait, what?
What?
Wait, were you serious?
When I said
you didn't like this movie?
No, I didn't.
Man, I thought you would have loved this movie.
No, I didn't.
Just kidding. So this movie's really bad. Here's a really quick synopsis, because it's bullshit. So Ian Hecox, he proposes to his girlfriend, but not really. He proposes that they become roommates soon, because he has emotional issues with commitment. She says, I fucking hate this. I thought you were going to ask me to marry you. She leaves in a huff. He gets his tie stuck in the door and then falls over he drops a bottle of wine, falls over because it spills. His pants fall down. He throws something to try to get help, and he hits the remote and it turns on porn. And then he dies. So it died looking like he was jerking off, I guess, even though he still had underpants on, and he was stuck in a door, so it wouldn't make sense.
Well,
but they thought he was choking himself. And I'm like, you can choke yourself without going to the door. It just doesn't make sense. So he dies. They go in, and then Anthony's character moves in. And then he's the only person that can see the ghost. And then a bunch of stupid shit happens. They eventually go to T-Pain reading of
The Raven.
T-Pain's in the movie.
For 5 minutes.
Anthony realizes that Ian had hacked into his account and bought the ticket for $10,000. So Anthony now is $10,000 in debt and is rightfully angry. So he leaves. Ian accidentally kills T-Pain. T-Pain becomes a ghost and is sent to heaven. And Ian's like, wait, why am I not in heaven? And he's like, because you still got unfinished business. So he goes home. He's like, Anthony, I got unfinished business. You got to help me. And Anthony agrees because he doesn't want Ian there anymore. And they figure out that Ian has it written on his chest who he needs to make amends with. And it's his girlfriend, his dad, and a guy named Mr. Bowman, who was a teacher of his. So they go
and they go to his
School.
They go to Mr. Bowman's school. They go to his old school, and it was a guy named Rick Bowman who Ian photoshopped his name to Dick Blowman.
Excuse me. Are you calling him Ian? Is his name Ian in the movie?
It's Ian.
Is it really?
No, but it's Ian. He photoshopped him sucking a guy's dick and called him Dick Blowman, and that stuck around for like 10 years. So Ian ruined this guy's life. But they make a fake fire.
It's a real fire that they make.
Well, it's supposed to be fake, but it's a real fire. Anthony almost dies in a locked room. But it's Mr. Bowman blows off the door handle to save Anthony's life, and Anthony goes, "You are the Blow Man," and everybody cheers for him. So he still has the same nickname, but now he's the Blow Man. It's like a cool nickname.
Yeah, it's not like in a year when students forget that he did that like heroic deed where he saved that random like 30-year-old guy in the closet.
And then the Bowman smiles, and he's like, "This is what a smile feels like," and it's very sad.
Yeah,
he's a very sad character. And Ian's the names are erased, so Ian goes to his own funeral. Previously, real quick, Anthony was lounging at home, and Ian's girlfriend walks in to take some of his stuff and realizes that nothing has changed, and Anthony's just been living in this dead guy's house without changing anything around, and is creeped out. And Ian keeps asking Anthony to ask really fucking weird questions like, "Did you fucking love him?" So she gets freaked out and leaves. Speaking of which, they go to a funeral, Ian's funeral, and Anthony hides behind the casket. And he pretends to be Ian's ghost to Ian's dad, and they try to make amends, and he says, "I love you, Dad." There's a little fight they have because Ian's dad hates Thomas Edison because he stole the inventions of Tesla, which I actually somewhat agree with. But they do make amends, and Ian's dad leaves, and Ian crosses him off the list. And then you spend the next 45 minutes of the movie trying to make amends with the girlfriend, which Ian thinks the only way to do that is to have her move on to somebody else. So he tries to get Anthony to seduce her. But, Anthony likes her best friend, who's very, very annoying. So, like, they work as extras on a movie set. A TV show set. It's a zombie TV show. So he, like, dresses up as a zombie and goes there. He's like a dead guy, and they try to seduce each other. And it's very painful. They go on a date, like a group date, and Ian can possess people, but it only happens 3 times in the movie. Twice to Anthony. Anthony shits his pants because of this possession.
Right before it happens, he's like,
"By the way, dude, don't do that thing where you possess me again because it made me almost lose control of my bowels."
and it's like, gee, I wonder what's going to happen at the end of this formal date scene.
And Ian's like, "You have to kiss my girlfriend." He's like, "I don't want to kiss your girlfriend." He's like, "Fine, I'm going to do it." And then he possesses him, and Anthony's like being possessed. He's like, "Run! I'm possessed!" He's like, "I'm going to shit my pants!"
Yeah, and he basically spills the beans that he's been best buds with her dead ex-boyfriend.
And he's like, "Anthony's in my body! It's in my body!" And, yeah. And
she's like, "You're fucking crazy. Stay away from me."
Yeah. And then
he shits himself.
And they go home, pretty much. And then, like, 2 minutes later, they make up. And they're like, "I have an idea." And so then they go to her, and they convince her that Ian's actually there. And they
by doing the thing that they should have fucking done right in the first 2 minutes of the fucking movie.
And then Ian realizes that he's the one that didn't move on, which is the most obvious shit in the world. And he finally moves on, and he's able to go back up to heaven. And she sees him and waves goodbye. And she sees T-Pain. She's like, bye, T-Pain. And her friend's sitting there the whole time going, what's happening? What's
She's, like,
happening? And
looking
she's
up
like,
in the wrong
she's
direction.
literally saying what's happening. And she's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, what? And then Anthony and her
Go on a
Anthony
date.
and her go on a date. There's an after credit scene where he's writing a comic book about his life with a Ghostmate.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, I told you there was an after credit scene.
Oh, I didn't remember.
Fuck, dude. Better
I
go
did.
watch it right now. No. And then the movie ends. So that's the regular synopsis. It's a really bad movie. It's really bad.
You know, I can, before I started this movie, because you had said that you thought it was better than
it is better than the Smosh movie.
I was like, before I started this movie, I was like, oh, maybe I'll check out the first Smosh movie.
Did you?
No, because I watched this and I could barely do it. There was a point in which I was like, the podcast is in like 2 days. I've got to watch this movie. I'm about halfway through the runtime, and I turn it on for 30 seconds, and I start cringing really hard, and I turn it off for another half hour. It's so, like, I hate to use this word because it's so overused, but this movie is max cringe.
See, I think there's a couple things that really elevate the cringe in this film. There's a couple things...
Because I don't think the cringe is intentional, which is the thing that makes it so cringy.
Yeah. There's a couple things that they could cut out of the film that would just kind of make it okay, I guess. Like, the story, at least. Like, having the entire plot be surrounded around, like, I want you to fuck my girlfriend was just fucking stupid. Like, this entire plot is just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, there's little pieces of hope I had for the film that, like, I don't fucking know.
Hold on. Egg Boy. Since
Boy.
you're standing
Egg is out
You-
here.
you've
Little
also
cameo.
seen the movie.
He wants to talk. He's gonna give us a brief 1 minute his mini review of Ghostmates Go.
Shut up!
All right, that was his review. Thank you.
Oh, God.
So, like, right at the beginning, they do something that I didn't actually expect them to do, in that there was no fucking around with trying to convince Anthony that he was a ghost. Anthony was convinced he was a ghost within the first minute of meeting him.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
he
like one
immediately-
line where he's like, no, you're not. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can do this. And he's like,
And
oh,
he
fuck.
possessed him. There's a scene where he possesses him. That I actually kind of liked, in the sense that, because so many movies are like, you're not actually a ghost, and it would take like 10 minutes to get through this shit. Like, in the sense that they at least subverted that expectation from me. But then Ian can interact with everything in the human world. He can do anything he wants, except people can't see him.
And he can't use...
Yet he never...
can't, like, use touch screen without a stylus.
Yes, because he doesn't have fingers. He
Yes.
doesn't have... That makes sense, kind of, I guess. But he never interacts with anything to show anyone that he's a ghost, except the first person he sees he's just fucking with. Like, his girlfriend, he could have just gone to and been like, it's me, Ian. He could have written it somewhere. Like, there's so many little things that he could have just done. He could have gone up to Mr. Bowman and just gone, I'm very sorry. Like, it's
Yeah,
like
plus it
making
looks like
him have all these powers, but not using any of them just ruins the entire idea of the film.
And he's got like unlimited ghost range. Like,
Yeah, he can go wherever he wants.
if you're gonna do a fucking ghost story, like, have it be like a ghost story. Like, as much as I don't like that movie, at least the rules behind, like, oh,
Like, there was literally
they have to
just-
stay where they died.
There
Like,
was just no rules in the movie.
yeah, they didn't sit down and they didn't fucking think about any of this. They're just like, what's the most generic fucking plot I could think of? There's a guy, and he has a roommate who's his best friend, who's also a ghost that nobody can see. And he's got list of things he's got to do to get to heaven. And it's just like, this is the most generic, fucking cliched, unoriginal, lazy shit I have fucking seen. And whatever, I get they're fucking YouTubers.
And I don't think, I think that both of them have the ability to be, funny guys.
Yeah.
I used to watch Smosh way back in the
So
day.
did
I
I.
don't think they're funny now.
Same
and I
here.
don't, even watching their original shit, I don't think it's funny.
I haven't rewatched any of their original shit, but I'd probably
I think they have at least if they had competent writers behind them, they could be, good comedic actors. They have the ability to.
hell, if they just used their head a little bit and thought, how is a comedy movie, typically structured? Has this plot been done before? How can we, take it a different way? But instead...
even though
granted,
all the
as far as we know,
jokes in this...
they didn't have anything to do with the writing in this movie. But this movie had, that Smosh sense of humor from, their YouTube channel, written all over it.
Yeah.
So either they don't write their own YouTube sketches anymore or, haven't for, a really long time, which I can buy because, back when I used to watch them in, 2010, there was, a period where, you can tell, they upped their production value and got, crewmen and...
Oh, yeah, I don't even know. Anthony left, right after Ghostmates, pretty much.
Yeah.
And
it
I don't
seems
even
he
know
didn't
how much
enjoy
Ian
it.
does anymore, because Ian has, so many crew members now.
I haven't watched...
I think there's, 10
posts.
people working for Smosh.
I
in
did
total.
I did check out one of Anthony's videos after watching this movie, though.
Are they okay? It seems like that he mostly just does kind of vlogs.
Yeah, I mean...
It seems pretty chillax, kind of
it's
easy watching stuff.
Okay, yeah. Not really my type of YouTube video, but I can, nothing offensive or bad
But I
about
feel
it.
like that's probably...
The video I watched, he, interviewed, handful of Uber drivers.
Yeah, that's what he's been doing. He just does, I spent the day with kind of these things. And I feel like that's kind of the comedy, I would enjoy from him, though. Just kind of, relaxed stuff. Not non-scripted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just...
It's nice to see him with his,
sexy
hair
mane.
unstraightened, too. Because I'm used to, emo Anthony, and it's nice to see him, rocking that more naturalistic look, you know?
Yeah. But it's just even the jokes are pretty terrible in this film, pretty much all of them. But I do think that their delivery is at least okay for the most part. They do a decent job delivering the lines. That's what I could tell throughout the entire thing. It's not going to work because the jokes don't work. But they have comedic timing. That's all I'm saying. It's they have the ability, and that's what I saw throughout the whole thing. I'm fuck! I wish these jokes were good because that was good comedic timing. Or they know how to deliver a joke. They just don't know how to write one.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's a scene with T-Pain and Anthony's yelling at T-Pain because he's actually yelling at Ian. And it's just very mean-spirited. It's just being mean to T-Pain. I was this is mean. It's not funny. It's just fucking mean. And T-Pain shouldn't have been in the movie. It was just being look at the celebrity we got.
Yeah,
it was useless. Even though I don't mind T-Pain,
I didn't watch the trailer, but I saw the video for the official trailer, and it's Anthony, T-Pain in the middle, then Ian on the end, and it's Ghostmates, and it's that is false advertising.
T-Pain's the Ghostmate.
T-Pain is in max 5 minutes of this movie.
Probably closer to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he shouldn't have been in it. It was a useless scene. Didn't really add anything except,
the only-
10 grand.
Yeah, the only thing that T-Pain's scene established is the fact that, Ian can get to heaven.
Which they could have just easily done earlier in the film. It's just lazy.
Yeah,
it was literally just inserted just to be look, we got a celebrity.
They could have had a line that's hey, what? Because they acknowledge at the very, very fucking end of the movie, it's hey, why don't you see any other dead people? Why are you the only one who can see dead people? To Anthony. But why couldn't they have acknowledged that earlier in the movie and maybe had a scene where he's I don't know, maybe at a random fucking place and an old person dies and he sees the ghost come out of him And then they go up to heaven or something, and Ian's just like, "What the fuck? Why can't I go to heaven?" He's like, "I don't know. You got to
Like there's so many.
They could have come to the conclusion on their own. It's like, why don't you check your chest like they do in the movie or whatever? I don't fucking know. I don't know. This movie just shouldn't have been made, in my opinion. But that's just me, and probably a lot of other people who have brains.
No, it's probably really good. And like, I didn't think some of the supporting cast I didn't think was terrible at like acting. Like I thought Ian's girlfriend was okay. She didn't really have any jokes, so most of her stuff was like more of the drama stuff. And I don't think she was terrible in most of the scenes. The scene like where Anthony gets possessed and like shits his pants, that's a fucking terrible scene from all accounts. But I don't blame her for that. That's like a terrible scene.
Yeah.
From all regards.
I don't think she was particularly good, but I mean,
I'm just trying to say the positives of the film.
See,
I'm saying she's not bad.
You're a glass half full type of guy. I'm a glass half empty type of guy. That's just.
I'm just saying that she wasn't bad.
And I'm saying I don't think that she was necessarily like awful, but I don't think she was like good by any standards.
I also think that the guy who played Bowman, even though I didn't like any of the scenes he was in, I feel like I like the style in which he acts. Like I feel like if under the proper like direction, I might enjoy something he's in.
I hate that comments were disabled on the movie.
Yeah,
I really wanted to leave a comment.
Oh, but I liked him. He was probably my favorite part of the movie, if I'm going to be honest.
The Bowman.
Yeah, probably because honestly, him going like, "This is what it feels like to smile," was like the most genuine part of the film. Like he was probably the best actor in the film, which is really funny.
Yeah, my favorite guy is probably the guy who falsetto screams out of the apartment in the beginning. That shit's hilarious. I love falsetto screams. They're so fucking funny. They're the peak of comedy.
That's pretty much the entire film.
Yeah, like no character uses their head at all.
Yeah,
because the writing is,
and that's the problem. Is like
written by a fucking third grader.
If it was like anywhere near more competently written, like just taking out like also the girlfriend's best friend was the most annoying character in the film. She was so annoying.
Yeah, she was pretty bad.
And I know I don't want to just blame the actors for everything because it was probably mostly the writing. Like, she's like, "No, I need you to scream."
I think that instead of using all the money on T-Pain, they should have gotten better equipment to get better production value because this looks
like a YouTube video.
Like a YouTube video.
No, like a slightly higher quality YouTube video.
Yeah, like what YouTube videos are going to look like
in a year.
Like a year ago, because it's already out of date, because this movie was made 2 years ago.
Actually, even like 2016, this was about YouTube videos. Like higher quality YouTube videos.
Because if you have someone... Because
the quality of Smosh videos has never been... Like, even now, it's just not very high.
Yeah, it's because they've always, like, upgraded their cameras, but not their, like...
lighting
techniques or anything like that. So they don't know how to like, light a scene or
so everything
how to properly shoot anything. So everything looks like an amateur porn.
Fucking never turns into one.
Yeah, what the fuck? I wanted to watch Anthony and Ian fuck.
No, never.
Like I said, the best solution. I said this in a private message to London, but the best solution that Ian could have done to get into heaven is to give everyone a nice ghost sucking lick, since he can physically interact with everything anyway.
But like, even if you give him infinite ghost range, just don't give him all these powers. Don't let him interact with stuff if you're not going to use it.
Yeah,
like they gave him all these things that he never uses. He can possess people, but only he possesses people only to do the poop thing. That's pretty much it. Like, it's just very disappointing.
Yeah,
actually, not even really disappointing. I knew it was going to be terrible, but I always hope for someone to improve on their craft, and I do think it's an improvement on the first movie.
I couldn't say.
It's but just barely.
One thing that I remember like specifically and being like, it's like right at the beginning. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So when they showed that picture from their trip to Fresno, and it's like the worst Photoshop job of like these two actors standing in front of a sign I've ever fucking seen, and it's like you really couldn't take the time to do a decent Photoshop job, like really. Like, this is a movie. You're trying to sell, like, this is behind a YouTube Red paywall.
Yeah.
Like, imagine all the fucking, like, 12-year-old Smosh fans are like, Mom, I need a
There's any
YouTube
information on
Premium subscription. I don't know. I tried looking up, like, information on, like, the making of this movie because I was just curious and I couldn't find much. But I was doing that, like, the last few minutes of my shift at work, so... But, like, IMDb has, like, almost nothing in terms of, like, trivia or anything like that. I'm sure a lot of it's probably hush-hush because, like you said, Anthony left after, like, making this movie, or shortly after. And from what I've heard, I heard he's not a very big fan of the movies. Or probably the process of making.
He probably just isn't a very big fan of the direction Smosh went.
Probably not. Which I can completely see why. Because
we should get Anthony on the podcast.
Anthony,
for our 20 subscribers.
Anthony, if you somehow just
Anthony,
decide to look
I know
up
you're
Ghostmates,
listening. Ian, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Maybe I can write a film for you.
Look, if any of the
It'd
Smosh...
be better. I can guarantee it'd be better than both of these.
If either Anthony or Ian wants
Any
to
of the other crew members for Smosh, tell Ian. I know you're owned by Rhett and Link. Tell Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning, let's make a movie. It's funny, as Rhett and Link I do think could make a good movie. I saw their YouTube Red series is actually kind of decent.
I don't know.
And they made a documentary like 10 years ago.
Did they?
Yeah, about their like school teacher from like grade school. They like wanted to find her again. I've heard it's pretty good. I want to watch it. It's like an hour long. I think it's like $2 on YouTube, so I'll probably just get it. That should be my pick.
I remember my second grade teacher died the year after I had her.
I don't know why.
I remember, like, it was summer and,
Did you kill her?
No, she died of, like, a heart attack or something. I remember, like, my mom got, like, a letter in the mail. She was telling me about it. She's like, do you want to go to the funeral? And I remember saying yes, but, you know, I'm a kid, so I just never went to the funeral, I guess. I don't remember. It was, like, second grade.
Don't know why I'm laughing.
I don't know. I don't either. My teacher died. And you're over here fucking in stitches.
So what'd you give the movie? Is this a 1 for you?
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad for me. I gave it a 2.
I think it's a 1 for me. I thought this movie was abysmal, and I never want to watch it.
Abysmal.
Abysmal?
Did I ever pronounce it abysmal? That's pretty cool.
I don't know.
I've never heard somebody pronounce it like that. That's sexy. Okay, so it's 1.5 for us. So probably best to never fucking watch it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I watch a lot of 1 out of 10 movies, and I'm just like, no, I laughed twice. Even though they were like laughs at like how bad it was. I laughed twice. And that's more than I can say about most 1 out of 10 movies I watch.
The only time I laughed was when I was laughing at Lucero finding the movie so funny. Oh, he really liked this movie. At least from the 10 minutes we watched with.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, don't watch this movie. But watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
That movie's really good. Okay, so I got classic next week, and you got modern. My classic pick is from way back in 1934.
Okay.
From China.
Okay.
It is called The Goddess.
I've heard of this movie.
I believe it's also known as hold on. Shenmue. It was said to be lost for a while, but everything's good with it now. I've heard it's incredible. It looks pretty great. I'm a pretty big fan of silent movies from what I've seen. I've been trying to get more into them. I haven't seen a lot of the big ones like Metropolis or Nosferatu, or I haven't seen some of the Chaplin. I've seen some of them now. Like I've seen Modern Times and I've seen The Kid, but I haven't seen
The Great Dictator.
I haven't seen The Great Dictator, City Lights.
There's a lot of them.
I've seen some Buster Keaton, so like, but The Goddess I've heard is great. I've never seen, I haven't seen a lot of Chinese film. I've seen some, but I would like to see a Chinese silent film because this is one of the most influential from that period in China. So I think it's important to watch.
Kung Fu Hustle's from China, wasn't it? Like, isn't that director?
Unfortunately.
Huh?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, I thought you said Don Forsley. I'm like, what?
I believe so. Let me check, but
All right.
by fucking who did that? What's his name? Stephen Chow. Yeah. Well, it's a Hong Kong film, and Hong Kong is technically a sovereign state. Well, it's depending on who you ask. Depending on if you're asking China, they'll say no. But like they have their own laws, they have their own like film. A lot of like Chinese films you'll see, like in the Chinese language, are going to be Hong Kong films, which is like a whole different thing. It's dope.
I don't know if that's the word I would use.
I mean, Hong Kong's pretty cool.
Hong Kong's the place that's been having like all the way.
Yeah, because China's trying to take it back over, pretty much. That's pretty much the thing that's happening. They're trying. Hong Kong's like, no, we're free, and China's like, no.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean,
Hong Kong, they're showing how much they will fight for their rights. There are like 10 million people outside every day fucking protesting. It's like, think about how many people that is. 10 million.
That's a lot of people.
That's like 5.
I think that's a little more than 5.
So yeah, The Goddess 1934, it is available on YouTube for free. You should watch it. I'm very excited. This is one of the most excited movies, excited I've been for one of our movies.
All right, London. So, I've decided, since I do this pretty much almost every week, I'm not going to do it every week, but I've decided to have my pick be centered around a game that I like to call the Golden Egg. And what it is I give London some words, 2 of which are bad eggs.
So you can hear a saw in the background. That means there's a saw in the background, by the way.
Oh, yes. There is some stuff going on outside. But 1 movie will be a good movie, and 2 will be a bad.
I choose 1.
And you choose one of the...
Yeah, I'm choosing the number 1. The good one.
Oh, okay. Well, here. Pick between these 3. So you've got Red Dress, Big Bear,
okay,
or Ocean Records.
Wait, 1 is good, 2 are bad?
2 are bad, 1 is good.
So, Red Dress, Big Bear, or Ocean Records?
Yep.
What is that, Shark Tale? Have you seen all these movies?
I've seen 2 of the 3. But I've seen like a full review of one of them before, so I know like the gist of all 3.
Let's go with Ocean Records.
Oh God, you picked the fucking worst one.
Why would you choose it? Like, I don't understand.
Because you picked fucking Ghostmates, and I had to get you back.
But I don't mind watching bad movies. Getting me back's not going to do anything.
I just
except make you suffer again.
Okay. It's called Last of the Living. You can watch it on YouTube. There's a full fucking upload of it.
Hey guys, just wanted to jump in here and tell you that Thomas just lied to you. It's not available on YouTube. Sorry, good luck finding it. Ha 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 ha.
What is that?
It's a bad independent zombie movie I watched when I was like 12.
Last of the living. Ooh, look at this poster.
Oh, dude,
This looks a contagious virus is turning everyone into zombies, and the only hope for survival lies in the hands of 3 couch potatoes. Wait, I might have seen this movie.
Did you really? Hold on.
I might have seen this on TV like a long time ago.
Who would broadcast this movie?
Or maybe I saw it online.
Look up the trailer for it, and if you've seen it, I'm gonna pick. Or I'll have you pick between the other two.
No, I'm gonna watch it either way.
Well, hold on. Have you seen it or not?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. If I have, it's like I've seen like 5 minutes of it, or maybe I've seen the trailer. I'm very excited though. This seems like I'm gonna love it.
Maybe. I don't know. It's pretty bad from what I remember.
Do you want to pick a different one, Thomas?
No, we're gonna watch Last of the Living. I think it's from 2009, is that
Yep,
the year?
2009. So 1934, 2009, practically the same year. All right, everybody. As always, tell your grandma, give me a rim job.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching. Watch those movies. We'll see you next week for another exciting episode of 2
Weens
and
a
Screw.